Hi there, welcome again to this channel. I'm continuing with the testimony of mental illness. Last time I had stopped when my holiday was over, and I thought that whatever was disturbing me was in Africa, in Uganda to be specific. So I thought that maybe when I go back to Germany, things will get better, things will lighten up. So I came back to Germany, but when I reached, one day when I reached here in Germany, I started thinking that there's a snake in the toilet. A very strong thought that there's a snake in the toilet was in my mind constantly, and this brought me a lot of fear. I was so scared because now how can I sit on a toilet when I know there's a snake in it? I was struggling to go to the toilet. The fear was so much, and this shape of a snake was in my eyes, and I could imagine it entering me. So this terrified me so much, and fear surrounded me. I was so scared, like these bad thoughts surrounded me. I couldn't bathe because the thought of a snake surrounded me. Like there's a snake here, there's a snake there, there's a snake in the toilet, and I couldn't take off my clothes. Every time I removed my clothes to bathe, I could see myself in a different way. I could feel like someone is looking at me. I could feel like my eyes are not my eyes anymore. Someone was looking through my eyes. Someone was watching me, my every step. So it felt so hard to bathe or to go to the toilet. This thought of a snake kept on growing stronger and stronger in me. I kept on thinking that there's a snake in the toilet, there's a snake in my bed, there's a snake entering me, there's a snake everywhere. And every time I thought that there's a snake, I would just shout. I could just shout. It was not me shouting, but the people or the person around me would think that I am shouting. For me, I knew that it was this spirit shouting, like this spirit hated or it made me believe that it hates the thought of a snake, yet it was the one doing it. But because the spirit I had received pretended to be a good spirit, pretended to be from God, so I kept on thinking that I am with God, and every time a bad thought crossed my mind, I felt bad, I felt guilty. I felt so guilty, a very strong guilt that I cannot even explain, like a guilt that can drive you to commit suicide. That kind of guilt. I felt so guilty every time a bad thought crossed my eyes, and these bad thoughts were on non-stop. They were non-stop, like they were just flowing and flooding like waters. They were non-stop, and because they were non-stop, this spirit kept on shouting, and it was like, you are a sinner, you are worthless, you are so bad, look at what you are thinking, how can you think like that? And it kept on shouting every time a bad thought crossed my mind. But these bad thoughts were non-stop, so I kept on shouting and grumbling and making funny noises, which I know they were not from me. This spirit was doing them, but the person seeing me was seeing that I'm the one doing these noises. So my pain continued. When I came back to Germany, my God, things got really worse, because in Uganda I couldn't pass by men, but here in Germany things turned. The same feelings I used to get when I passed by men in Uganda now turned every time I passed by a dog or every time I saw a dog. And Germany is a country filled with dogs. Like, these people love their dogs, and there were dogs everywhere, and I felt like I'm suffocating. I felt like I want to run away and go somewhere where there are no dogs. So these bad thoughts that seemed so real were flooding my mind, and I couldn't look at dogs. Every time I was passing by a dog, I could just hold myself and try to shut my eyes and mind down if I could, but I couldn't. And this spirit used to force me to look at them. And it took me a long time to know that this spirit is actually against me, not for me. And I remember that sleeping became a problem, because now every time I was in bed, this strong thought of a snake was with me. And every time I thought that there's a snake in my bed and there's a snake trying to enter my body, I could feel warmth in that certain place that I've thought about. I could feel warmth, a certain strange warmth, like to support the thought that is in my mind. And I kept on fighting. I kept on saying, no, that's not true. There's no snake here. There's no snake in my bed. There's no snake in the toilet. There's no snake. But this spirit kept on saying, it's true, there's a snake. Don't you feel this warmth? Don't you feel that? Don't you feel that? And it kept on supporting these bad, strange thoughts. And like, I was surprised, because now it felt like I'm striving and fighting to stay sober and to keep my mind straight, but it's like this spirit was working against me, and it was supporting the bad thoughts and actually telling me that they are true when I know for a fact that they are not. And so I was disturbed. So this thought of snakes around, snake in my bed, snake entering me, snake in my toilet, was paralyzing me. I felt like I cannot do anything. I could just sleep in one spot and not be able to turn. I couldn't turn. And then the spirit kept on shaking me with vibrations so that I cannot sleep. So because I didn't want to wake up my husband, I could get out of my bed and go in a couch that was in our bedroom. I could just sit there. I remember starting feeling sad. I started feeling sad. I started seeing myself as the most unlucky person on earth. I started recalling all the things that have happened to me in the past. I started recalling my childhood. I started seeing how unlucky I am and how sad I've been. And I wondered, what did I ever do to God? Like, why am I even going through the things I'm going through? Like, why me? I kept on asking, why me? Why am I going through this? Why am I going through this torture? I felt like God has not protected me. I felt like God could have done better with my life, but here I am, stuck in a situation that I'm in. I am losing my mind. I feel so much burden on my shoulders. I feel like there's no tomorrow. I felt hopeless. I remember that time I was still doing a German course language because I had just come here. And I remember I didn't sleep that night. I barely slept. I spent the whole night crying until it was 5 in the morning, and my eyes were swollen and all red, and I had to go to school the next morning. And my life at school that moment was terrible. I remember a friend I had, she told me that something is not right. Why are you like this? You have changed. You're always tired. You're always dozing off. You're always yawning. And, you know, you're always burping. And I was like, yeah, I didn't reply. But when we were going back home, she asked again. She was like, Debbie, what's going on? And I just bursted into tears. I just cried. And she hugged me and she was like, tell me what's going on. I couldn't tell her what was going on. At this point, I had not shared anything that was happening to me with anyone. I hadn't. And I just cried and she hugged me. And I was like, you know what, I'll tell you when the time is right. And she was like, is it because you went back to Africa? Because I had been to this holiday and she knew about it. Oh, Debbie, what happened when you went there? What happened? And I didn't tell her. But when I was coming in the road, on the streets, I realized that people were laughing. And I said, oh my God, do people even laugh? Like, what can make a person laugh? Can a person be happy? And as I was coming in the streets, I saw people laughing, and I was amazed that people actually do laugh. And I realized that I hadn't laughed in a very long time, and I started craving to laugh. I started craving to be happy, and I realized that it was so far away. It was like it's impossible for me to laugh again, and I wondered what could make people laugh. Why do people laugh? All of a sudden, I had no feelings of happiness or memories of happiness. Like sadness and pain had clothed me, and this was my world now. This was my reality now. So I came back home, and my pain continued day in, day out. And these thoughts didn't stop on me, because I remember I started seeing my children differently, my man differently. I remember the same thoughts started coming every time I was taking my child to bed. My daughter, I could see a snake in her bed, and I kept on like telling my mind, it's not true, it's not true, just cover her and go, there's no snake. But my eyes could see a snake in her bed, and this thought terrified me so much. Imagine seeing a snake in your child's bed. So, and it was the same thing with my son. And every time I looked at my son, I could see him being beaten, like they beat people in mob justice. Like I could see sometimes a big stone, a huge stone coming to crush his head, and I would look away like so quickly, and I would just go away, because I couldn't stand the pain that I was going through watching that happen to my child. Though it wasn't true, but this was my truth now. It seemed like I can't tell my eyes to see the right things. My eyes always and always flipped everything they looked at. They could just see them upside down. They could just not see things the way they are, and this tormented me so much. I was like, my God, what happened to me? What happened to me? How come I cannot see things the way they are? How come I can't think correctly? I can't see things correctly. And because I couldn't look at my children normal anymore, I couldn't look at my son normal anymore, or my husband, I decided that, you know what, it's better for me to run away. I remember feeling so much guilt, because this spirit could get something bad that I've ever done, something bad that I've ever seen or heard of, and it would play it on non-stop. Everything bad that I've ever done in my life was being played on a repeat mode, like on a repeat. You know, like when you have done some things in the past that you are not proud of, maybe things that cause you shame when you think about them, and you wonder like, what was I thinking? So these things were being played on a repeat mode in my head and in my mind, and I wanted to die. God, I wanted to die. I wanted to escape this pain that I was going through, and I felt so much guilt. My God, this unshakable guilt. I felt like I am not worthy of being a mother. I felt like I'm not worthy of being a wife. And in my mind, I was like, my children deserve a better mother, and my husband deserve a better wife. So I decided that I want to just run away and leave my family alone, because in my mind they deserved better than me. So I remember that I came to my husband. I wanted to write a goodbye letter and then run away, but then I was like, whatever I want to write, let me just talk to him directly, because at this point I had not told him anything that I'm going through. He noticed that I wasn't the same person, the same girl he married, but he didn't know the details of everything that I was going through. He just knew that I was going through a rough time, because even coming back from the holiday, I came back when I was really tiny. I had lost a lot of weight. So I decided that instead of me writing a letter to tell my husband, blah, 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 I'm running away or I'm killing myself, or let me just talk to him directly and say goodbye to him in person. And I think this was like God saving me, because I went to him and I said, you know, honey, I cannot do this anymore. I just want to go away. I want to run away from you guys. Just go back to my home, to my parents' home, and bring my sister so that she can take care of my children, because my children were still small. I told him that, you know what, honey, go and bring my little sister to take care of my children and help them grow up. I've failed. I cannot do this anymore. I just want to go away. And I remember my husband bursting into tears, like he could not believe his ears, like he couldn't believe that we are this far in disaster, that we are in so much trouble, because I had not opened up to him on the things I was going through. And he cried so much, and he hugged me and we cried. And he was like, but what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I was like, you know what? Things are happening to me. Things are happening to me and I don't know how to fight them. I think the devil attacked me, but I don't know how to fight. I feel like I've lost. He told me that, tell me exactly what's going on. And I was like, I am seeing things. I was like, even now as I'm talking to you, my eyes are looking at my private parts, and I don't know how I'm able to do that. I don't know how I'm doing that, but I am talking to you and I am looking at you, but my eyes are looking at my private parts, and I could see every vein. I could see the blood vessels. I could, like, how am I even able to do this? And I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. And he was like, oh my God. And I was like, I see snakes. I see a snake. I think about this and this and this. And he was like, maybe we should go and see a psychiatrist. And because I was a staunch believer, I was like, yeah, we could see a psychiatrist. But I think this problem is spiritual. I think whatever is disturbing me is spiritual. How will a doctor help me? And he was like, I think we should see a psychiatrist, or let's go and Google about it and find out what's happening with you. So we came to the internet and we started researching about the things I was seeing. That's when I started seeing that some people go through it. That's when I started seeing that some people actually see spiders in their bodies when there are actually no spiders. I was like, okay, wow, this happens to people. It was new to me. I thought I was the only person going through it in the entire world. So going to the internet helped me to know that some other people also have battled this thing. And there was also something that used to go through my hair, like someone is tickling you through the skin of your hair underneath. And I researched on internet, and they said that these are spirits, blah 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 blah. They were saying some things that I don't want to go into, but okay, internet helped me to know that such and such things go on in the world. But my pain didn't stop. My pain did not stop at all. It continued. I felt so sad. I felt so alone. I felt like I am lost. Like I was dropped somewhere, maybe in the desert. And in this desert, I was surrounded by my enemies. I felt like I'm surrounded by Satan, by darkness all the time, every day, every night. And this spirit assured me that I was unworthy, unworthy to be a mother, unworthy to be a wife, unworthy to pray, to go before God, that I was unworthy. And every time I tried to pray, it could bring obscene pictures in my mind, in my eyes. I could see myself naked. I could see my every part. And in order to stop me from praying or saying anything like God or Jesus, the word Jesus or God and everything that concerns God was forbidden, because I am unworthy. I'm not worthy to be God's child, to be anything in life. And everyone else seemed to be making it but me. I seemed to be like the only one who is a loser, who is not worthy, who is not good enough, who is ugly, who is all these bad things. Everyone was okay but me. So even physically, signs that people with mental illnesses have started manifesting in my life. I remember I started spitting so much, and I had to spit in a cross form. It had to be a cross. So I would spit in front, up, and then here, and then here. And this spirit was like, now I'm protecting you from evil. So like you have to spit, but it has to be a cross. So I would spit before I go to bed. When I go to bed, I will first spit, not like actual saliva, but I would be like something like spitting in a cross form, even on my bed. And I started like doing crosses like on my eyes, like this, until my eyes started paining, because I was rubbing the skin non-stop, and the burping didn't stop. But in that period of my great pain, I had a dream, and in this dream I saw my house, and my house was filled with animals, with all sorts of animals. I remember the sitting room was full to the top, like there were so many animals in my room. And I remember that a certain animal entered, and it didn't stay in the sitting room, but it went straight to the bedroom. Somehow these animals knew where the bedroom was, and it knew exactly what it was doing, and it didn't stay where these other animals were staying, but it went straight to my bedroom, and it hid under my bed. So I shouted, and I was like, people come help me, there's an animal, there's this animal. It looked like a dog, a very hairy dog. It had hairs all over, covering its face, and it went direct to my bed. So I called people that come and help me. A certain animal is in my bed, under my bed, come and help me, and we get it out of here. And I remember looking in my yard, outside my house, and I saw that there was my dog. I used to have a dog before, and I saw my dog was there, and it was being assaulted sexually by another dog. But every time I looked, every time I watched, I felt like I'm going crazy. Every time I looked and watched, I was losing my mind. So to avoid myself from totally running mad, I covered my eyes so that I could not see whatever was being done to my dog. And I remember I woke up so terrified by this dream and whatever had gone on in this dream. So my pain continued. I remember every time I walked in the streets, I felt like I'm licking every dirty thing that is on the streets. If someone had spitted on the street, my mind would be like yearning to lick that spit off the street. And this thought, my God, this thought was driving me crazy. I was like, oh my God, how can this even be? I feel like I'm cleaning the streets with my tongue. Oh, so disgusting. And I couldn't, every time I saw a spit on the ground, I would at least try to avoid it and pass the other way, or try to go faster than normal. And I remember I started feeling really, really ugly. And yeah, I remember I started seeing someone looking at me through my eyes. Every time I looked into the mirror, I could see that someone was in my eyes and was looking at me through my eyes. So I'll stop here today. I'll continue from here next time. God bless you. Bye bye.